homeschool mom to 2 elementary kids. My third is still just a little baby, so not quite there yet. I am in Minnesota, and so enjoy the accent. I hear it is pretty thick, but I refuse to believe that. I have my pajama shorts on and a leotard type shirt that is supposed to snap in the middle, but I absolutely will not be doing that. And today is my video on what I would have done differently starting homeschool. And if you see me looking down, it's just my notes here. And my first one is that I would have researched curriculums more. There are so many curriculums out there. We started out with The Good and the Beautiful because I didn't know that there was a lot of other options out there. We are more of a secular family and in a sense shifted over to that. But we did start with The Good and the Beautiful, preschool and kindergarten prep, which I do really love those. But then we did the kindergarten version, and those, I have a whole video about that too, but those just felt too cluttered and like they were trying to do too much in one lesson. So it's just like a tiny bit of writing, a tiny bit of reading, and it just felt like it wasn't enough. And so we did switch from that, but I wish that we would have researched curriculums more and started that from the get-go, just so we weren't switching things up on the kids so much. In the beginning, I kind of naively was like, okay, first grade homeschooling, what one book do I need for that? And I think you can do it that way, but for us, it works a lot better to piece a lot of different things together. So we do Logic of English, love them, talk about them every video. We do Singapore Math Dimensions, we do Handwriting Without Tears, we do Curiosity Chronicles. We just have so many things that we like piece together, and we do like a loop schedule with all that. But yeah, that is one thing I wish that I would have done before actually like taking the leap into homeschooling, is researched more what was out there and picked stuff that would have been good for our family. And some of it is kind of like live and learn and like trial and error type stuff. And especially I think with math, because you are learning their style and like what works best for them. And so sometimes it is helpful to try a couple different curriculums, but yeah, what we did with just like The Good and the Beautiful for everything didn't work out the best for us. So that is my first one. My next one is that I would have started our school in the mornings, and maybe this is probably like across the board, people are totally different. But for us, mornings work so much better. I do work a full-time job, and so I initially tried to do school in the afternoons and in the evenings, and it just kind of bled into like dinner, bath, bedtime, or playtime where they're wild and they want to be outside. And so it just didn't seem like it worked out very well for us. And then I switched into the mornings before I start work, and it has gone so much better. It feels like they're so much more eager and they're ready to start their day off with that and then do their playing. And it has just worked so much better for us. And so I think that's kind of one of those things where you have to, see what fits best for your family. But I guess my advice would be to try morning, try afternoon, try evening, see what works best, because different times of the day can have a big effect. My next one is I wouldn't have tried to do so much. So I had like shiny object syndrome. So I'd watch a video, I'd be like, that looks amazing, and I'd buy it, and we'd try to fit it into our day. And I would try to not necessarily follow like a public school, but just, I don't know, it's like, okay, I want to fit in like science and art and math and reading and all these extra things into every single day. And it was way too much. And they quickly let me know that I was way too much and that they weren't going to be doing all that. And so what we ended up doing is we do like our poetry and art kind of together combined, and we do our writing and then our like reading phonics and our math every single day. And then all the rest of our subjects we kind of do on a loop schedule. So I don't have it in front of me, but we do like our science, our anatomy, our social emotional health, our social studies, and a couple other things like on a loop schedule. So if we don't get to it a certain day, we'll just do it the next day. Like it's not a big deal because those are kind of extras for my kids because they are only 4 and 7. But yeah, when I first started out, I was like, we're gonna do it all every day, right? Like, what's the problem here? And it was way too much for them and for me. So I wouldn't have tried to do so much in the beginning. My next one kind of goes with that a little bit. I would not have bought every curriculum that I saw. And so after we started and I learned, oh, there is more than just the Good and the Beautiful, I was like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I was buying everything. And I mean, it got expensive. And a lot of them we don't use. I have a whole video too about like all the stuff that we don't use and that we quit for just in general and like for first grade and whatever. But there are quite a few of them that we either it didn't like fit for our age group, it was too low or too high, or we just really didn't like their style of teaching, or we found something better. And so yeah, I mean, going forward, I kind of learned that we won't be buying every single curriculum that I see that I fall in love with. So my next one is I would not have been so hard on myself when school isn't always like the vlogs and the videos you see, because that's not how it always is. Some days are amazing and some days do go like that with birds singing in the air and we're finishing school and everybody's happy. But a lot of times it's not. A lot of times I'm like, okay, it's time for school, and they're kind of dragging their feet or they don't want to, or you know, a lot of times we take the days off because we're tired or we're not feeling super great. But yeah, it's not always like how it's depicted. And I think that is something that's important to know, because I think it's easy to blame yourself if your kids are not super happy about doing homeschool, especially in the beginning, because it does take time to get used to it for you and for the kids. Even if we take like a week off, that first day back is a little bit of a nightmare sometimes because we're off schedule and they're like, oh my God, and they're like, can we just play instead? I'm like, okay, you know, we're gonna do our school and then we're gonna play. But yeah, so it takes some time getting used to, and I think just go easy on yourself, see how it goes, adjust as needed, but it's not perfect every single day, and that is okay. My next one is family subjects. So my kids are 4 and 7, and so it is quite easy for us to do family subjects. I know that is a little bit different if you have like a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, it's a little bit harder, but right now for us, family subjects work really, really well. Instead of being like, okay, this kid, I'm gonna like do thing, and then the next kid, I'm gonna do all those things again. It works really well for us for them to do their like reading subjects separately and their math subjects separately, and then pretty much everything else we do together. So we do our poetry and art together every morning. They do their handwriting at the same time. A lot of their like science, anatomy, social emotional health, journaling, all that stuff, they're both doing like kindergarten or first grade levels, just because they're both like really thriving in that level. And so family subjects for us have been really, really helpful because I don't have to individualize everything while I'm trying to make another kid busy while they're so young. So I definitely would recommend family subjects. And then my last one is not cramming everything into one sitting. And so we've gotten a little bit better about it to where we can get most everything done in one setting, because they know exactly what's expected and exactly what we're doing for the day, and then that they're free the rest of the day to play. So we've gotten a lot better about it, but sometimes it really, really helps to split those up into different times of the day. So we love our mornings. That's when I try to get like our most important things done. So that's when I try to get our language arts and reading done and our math done. And then, you know, if we're still like doing okay, I'll put one of our other books in there that we're supposed to get to. And then later on in the day, like lunchtime or after lunch, we'll try to do another book or two, or, you know, our outside adventure or whatever we have planned. And if we don't get to it, then we don't get to it, and I just do it the next day. So I think just kind of managing your expectations with that too, and not trying to cram everything in one sitting, and not trying to cram everything into a day, and just knowing that it's okay to get to something the next day, or to take a day off of something, because we're going at our own pace here. As long as our kids are on track to where they're supposed to be, we can take a little bit of time off or push science to the next day, and it's totally fine. Yeah, I rambled probably a little bit, but that, I mean, those are, I tried to think of more and I couldn't. Maybe another time I'll add other stuff, but for now, these are all of the things that I would have done differently starting homeschool.